Here we are. Super professional. So what's your bourbon, Tracy?
This is Berkshire bourbon. It's crafted. It was a birthday present for my daughter. So it's a craft bourbon in the Berkshires. And I mix it with San Pellegrino blood orange flavor.
Oh, I never thought of that.
Just a splash, because I don't like it, because the blood orange is too sweet and I couldn't drink it. But you cut it with the bourbon, it's kind of nice.
That is nice. I'm a bourbon whiskey and like neat or like one cube or a splash. I never tried to doctor it. No.
I do like it with like an old fashioned or Manhattan. I like a bourbon cocktail, and I do like it neat as well.
Awesome. Awesome.
What do you like for bourbon?
I like Maker's Mark. That's pretty straightforward. Yeah, just easy. And tonight though, I'm drinking Pinot Noir. I'm going easier than you are, Tracy.
Oh, I'm out of because I'm out. I did not stock up, but I love Pinot Noir.
This is it's the Dove Hunt Dog Pinot Noir from Scout and Cellar, Russian River Valley, and it's got like currants, I think, and tobacco on it. Like it's really well structured.
Sounds nice. I'll have to try that.
I hate a thin Pinot, you know?
Me too. Me too. I found I like the ones from the Willamette Valley in Oregon.
Yes.
They are nice and full bodied, and I think it's the soil there. It's very
that they are. Okay, well, let's get started because now it's time for people to be hopping on. Hello, everybody. Welcome to a Friday night fun talk with Bridget and Tracy here. I have with me Intuitive Interiors, my business. My new partner, I'm so excited to announce that Tracy Hoffman of Tracy Boyce Feng Shui is now collaborating with Intuitive Interiors going forward. We have a new project underway, Elm City Wellness up in New Haven. And I'm looking forward to more collaborations with Tracy in the future. I am a huge fan of Feng Shui and its impact on the home, because it's all about energy. It's all about qi, all about the flow. All about the flow, you know? And but I am not a feng shui expert, and nor do I have any desire at this time to become one. So, you know, they always say you find the right people and the right people find you, and you come together, and it is a beautiful meeting. So Tracy and I met, she's local to Westport, and it was friendship from the get-go. And I'm so excited to be working with her and her beautiful, deep gifts. This woman has very deep gifts. Tracy is an international feng shui expert. She travels the world bringing feng shui to people's homes. She shares her concept of like, what is home? She's exploring that concept as she travels, with a pit stop and back home in Westport here, you know, during COVID-19. But she does that through her Instagram page, which is at home around the world. And I just love that concept. And so I fully support Tracy. She has been in numerous very fancy publications, Discovery Channel. Where else, Tracy? Travel Channel?
No, NBC. There was Scripps Network, had a network called Fine Living. I was on that. A show called Back to Basics. The Early Today show on NBC. A lot of radio, in a lot of publications, as you've said.
Yeah.
And to come.
What's that?
And more to come.
And more to come. So suffice it to say, Tracy knows her stuff. And I am so honored, Tracy, that you're here and sharing with all of us your the depth and your breadth of knowledge. So I wanted to know more about we've talked about this sometimes, but it's like, I want to know, like, why did you start practicing feng shui? What is your story?
That's a long one. Well, first of all, I want to thank you. Thank you. We met like over a year ago. As you said, it was love at first sight. And I had done a project called Project Fix It Up, where I had vetted 10 homes. and was finding, I was matching needs to resources. I didn't want to fundraise, but it was like seniors that needed, I thought it was going to be little windows to be fixed, and it turned out it was like getting new roofs done and landscape. It turned out great, and Bridget was interested in it. So I handed it over to her. I was like very happy to have her interest. So it was kind of this bonding on this mutual interest of serving people and in their homes and making them healthy and happy. And that's pretty much it. I mean, it's a long story, but the short story is I was looking for a house. I was pregnant with my third child and I lived in Westport. I had two girls that were never, I had a 3-bedroom house, but the two girls were never going to be able to share a room. They were 7 and 5 at the time. So I needed a new bedroom in the house, and we had a cloud on the deed that we could not, I had already renovated on the property, and there was a variance because the zoning restrictions based on the percentage of how much house space, the footprint of the house versus the land. It was, so anyway, the bottom line is they allowed us the variance to add an addition to it. We could never do it again. But that was before I was pregnant and needed another bedroom. So we had to go look for a house. And my husband at the time, I'm now divorced, but he never wanted to pay fair market value for anything. And I wanted a bigger version of this house that I had made, that I loved, that everybody loved. So we kept seeing houses that were in poor repair, and not surprising, at the time it was a fair market, you get what you pay for. And this is 25 years ago. So like, who had heard of Feng Shui? A friend of mine had seen written up in an article in a magazine. So I went to Barnes & Noble. There was one book at the time called Feng Shui Made Easy. It was not easy. It was like reading Chinese. So it was like, and we were going to contract in a week. I was freaking out because the house that we were looking at was, the building inspection came back poor. It was 8 years old. It was 6,000 square feet. It was in like the nicest street in Weston, really nice area. But I didn't know what to do. So turned out the guy who wrote the book lived in Litchfield, Connecticut, 45 minutes away. He came, he said, don't buy the house. He told me a thing. The thing turned out to be like really an epiphany moment. It was literally, it showed me this thing. It's called shot. The house that was being built behind this house we're looking at was being built on an angle. So like 90 degrees, because 90 degrees is sharp. It's a, you know, any angle at 90 degrees, it's sharp. But knives, even back, you know, arrowheads, like anything, you use it as a weapon, like a sharpness as a weapon. So anything with a lot of its two energy point coming to a point, and then it'll just shoot off. So it's called shooting chi. So anyway, that was shooting right into the house that I was looking at. So he said, look, and so there was one dead tree in this whole line of backyard, and that right off this point that was from the backyard was, this tree was the one dead tree on this whole line of healthy green trees. In that moment, I saw it. It was like an epiphany. This literally, the skies parted. I heard the angels singing. And I knew, so I said, you know, I said, okay, I'm going to tell my husband, the Feng Shui guy says, I'm not buying this house, but I need to study. Do you teach? So I started a couple months later, I found a class and I started studying. I went to India 6 months later and started traveling around the world learning about it. So wow. It was, and I haven't looked back. It's like took me into, and I was an accountant by training. I'm very skeptical. I'm not a believer. I didn't know any about this stuff. It's like, what the world that I stepped into was like, oh my gosh. And thank you. I want to say, like, that you're not an expert. Some people do, they think. It's taken me 8 years. It took me 8 years just to understand what yin and yang meant. I mean, really on a cellular level, that I don't even have to think about it. It's just, I walk in, I know something's off, the balance is off, and I can start figuring it out why, which is energy. So the question is, what is Feng Shui? It literally means wind and water. And wind and water, like pretty much the most powerful elements that shape our environment. The Grand Canyon's a function of wind and water. Tornadoes, tsunamis, it's all wind and water. So those are the extreme, but it also can be used very helpful. So basically, they're tools for transformation. So Feng Shui is transformation. That's what it is. It's, you can transform. And I've learned I'm a master of transforming energy. and I take whatever could be considered where negative energy is, or what's not going so well, where it's stagnant, not moving, and I know how to transform it to use it to make it into positive energy.
Cheers to transforming energy. Yes,
that was a long sentence. Thanks for like, your nice way of saying, take a breath. I could just talk about this all day. Well, we could be here tomorrow. I just love this. I just love talking about it.
Yeah. The transformational aspect of feng shui, people think a lot of, okay, so I'll tell you like what I thought feng shui was, and this is like super ignorant of me, but I'm going to share. I was like, well, I do energy. And I'm like, I do energy. I get, because when I walk into a space, I can automatically feel like what's going on. You and I, we read energies on similar levels, and then they differ. So like I can feel like, there's been arguments in this room, there's been fighting, there's been no intimacy in the bedroom, the kids are having nightmares in this bedroom, or whatever, and then I'll go in and I'll approach it from a different way, but you approach it from the feng shui way. So like, I'm like, okay, well, feng shui. I was like, okay, I understand it's like a map, and that we have like relationship corner, we have our money corner, we have our family corner, and it's like, you don't want to put a trash can in the money corner or the relationship corner. And then I'm like, well, where does one put the trash can? And if I want to like bring love into my life, then I'm going to put like a rose quartz and like a picture of like a man and a woman, kind of sexy, like in the relationship corner. And I know and I knew that it was always more than that, but that was like just all I could understand about feng shui from like the media, like magazines, because it's Cosmopolitan magazine. It's like 5 tips of feng shui a bedroom for romance tonight, ladies. And it's like, that's not feng shui. That's like that's a band-aid for a really sad woman. So it's there's so much more to it. And but for me, like you, our ultimate goal is to help people to transform their lives. And so can you like tell us, like, what are some common misconceptions about feng shui?
Yeah, I will. Well, first of all, I just want to mention like what you said about putting things here or there. It's like really the whole point, there's a flow from an energy, it's like and all we're doing is moving. Energy has to flow and be contained. So everything we see actually is telling chi where to move. They're all like little like stop signs, like driving down a road, one way, go here, red light, green light. Every object in our house or any place is that. It's just telling energy where to go. So that's why I know how to make it change, because I know how to read the signs, and it is all signs. It's very literal. But the big, like a myth buster is, this is like simple, like, first of all, there's 2 forms. What people may not know is there's kind of 2 schools of thought for feng shui. There's most of the books and things what you read is called BTB feng shui. It's based on what's the bagua, like where's your relationship corner, where's your wealth corner, where's your wealth, where's health, where is money and relationships is the most thing everybody wants to know. So from a BTB point of view, black Tibetan black hat, I call it black hat, but it's BTB. It would be like they have it just one way lined up. You would take the bagua, you overload like your floor plan of your house, and that would be your relationship corners and your top back right corner, your wealth corner is your top left corner, and no matter where it is in your house, that's where it is. I don't practice like that. Mine is I'm practiced from what's called compass school. So it's based on directions. Like, so south is always going to be your fame section, and southwest is always your relationship. So what I'm getting to, so one of the big myths and myth busting of feng shui is like, one that everybody always says is like, if you have what about the red door? Everyone, if you have a red door, that's good luck. So, I mean, have you heard that? Like, you have a red door, it's good luck?
Yeah.
All right. So my response to that is, if everybody had a red door, would everybody have the same luck? I don't think so.
Mm-mm.
So it's not just about having a red door, or taking a rose quartz and putting it there. I mean, it doesn't hurt, and honestly, everything's always about intention. So if you do put something in with intention,
Yeah.
because thoughts are big chi flowers. Like a big important thing in terms of even chi moving is what we think. So thoughts and intentions are powerful, really, really powerful. So where the red door came from was south is equated with the sun, and like if you think of the direction south, where sun rises in the east, overhead is south. That's the most intense bright energy of the day, and the color associated with south is red. So especially Chinese restaurants always do this because they're pretty superstitious, and here's the tip, they did not originate feng shui, they embraced it. The reason I went to India to study it is because that's where it actually originated. It's just the Chinese embraced it and brought it to it. So we think of it as Chinese, and feng shui are those words, but so that's what they're trying to bring in, a lot of energy with red. So that's one. I have two others that are myths. People think it's a religion. I have people think that feng shui is a religion. Like, oh no, I don't want, no, I'm Catholic. No, I don't want any of that. It's like, so in that respect, it's not a religion. It's not really I guess you could call it an art and a science, because there actually is some calculations and science to it.
What would you call it then? Would you call it a tradition? What is it?
It could be is it a I guess it would be a concept. If it's anything, I'd say it's a concept.
Okay.
And it's an art and science, because it's an art form to design, like it's a designing, the aspect of it. And there is the way I practice from a compass school, there are calculations, there's there is math and science to it. So I call it part art, part science.
Okay.
I guess it could be or a concept. I don't know. That's what some people say, the art of feng shui.
Yeah. Okay. So what was the first?
One more good one. So one more is like the last one. People always ask this question. This question is always asked. Do I put the toilet seat up or down? Like what happens? Like, if I put it up, there's that myth that if you keep the toilet seat down, you keep your wealth in place. Everything I've learned, like I said, I was an accountant and I've been doing this for 25 years. Everything I had to learn is based on my experience. Things I did that worked out, things that I didn't do and didn't work out, based on clients, things I've seen, and also colleagues. So what I do have to say though, even though the toilet, I have never seen whether it makes a difference whether you leave your toilet up or down. What really does make a difference, if your toilet's leaky or broken or any sort of plumbing leaks, that always is an indication that there's leaky, there's wealth linking. So that's always 100% works. If you've got a leaky faucet, you better fix it. You got a leaky toilet, you better fix it. You got a shower that's clogged up, you need to fix it.
So then, okay, honestly, I've been showering with like a clogged drain for like a year.
I suggest you fix it.
Too lazy to call a plumber.
I had it, honestly, when I first came back, my drain was like blood, and I like just took a plunger and plunged it, and it worked. That worked.
Oh, there's about 70 pounds of hair probably down that drain.
Okay,
but yeah, it's I didn't know that. Like, and what I would say is like, fix that leaky faucet and then go and look at your bank account. Like, go look at your credit card statements and see where there's any sort of leaking occurring. Like if you're paying for a subscription that you thought you turned off, or if somebody is like taking money out of your account or something, or there's been, some sort of a theft in some way. But like, where is the money leaking out that has escaped your notice?
You can do that, but every single time that someone's just done, like fixes it, money just comes in some way, shape, or form. You don't have, but I like that idea of just going to look to see if there is the correlating leak.
Yeah. It's like, fix it first. Yeah. And then see like where the leaks are. But it's not so is it that leaks are like there's money leaking out, or is it that you just fix it and then money will come in?
My experience has been money will come in, but I like what you're saying. I like go find where you are, where there are leaks. You know, there is probably some sort of integrity issue, like subscriptions you don't notice. So I really like that idea. That's awesome. I think that's a great idea.
An integrity issue. I like the way you say that. Yeah. Okay, Michelle's getting her kids ready for bed. She'll come back.
Okay.
All right, Michelle.
Hey, I see Sarah's there. Hi, Sarah, Nadine. Hey, I'm just like watching. I'm not even like seeing. I'm watching you. I'm not paying attention. Who's joining?
And my friend Christine is on. She's saying, now I want to cause a leak and fix it immediately.
No, you don't want to do that. Oh, one other thing I want to mention though. Wait. I also want to mention from Feng Shui, wealth does not necessarily have to be money. It could be anything that you value. It could be like in a company, it could be your employees. If your employees, it's not necessarily directly wealth money. It could be your energies leaking, like you're overworking. It could be. That's why I like the idea that you can go track down some money if there is, but it could be any kind of leak. A wealth could be your energy, your health, whatever you value.
I love that. I didn't like, whenever somebody says wealth, I automatically think money. So
in Feng Shui, it could be something else that you value. It could be your family, you know, if you're leaky, you know, it could be somebody in your family's got something going on that you may not realize.
Have you got a leaky aunt? If so. Gramps is leaking again.
Well, actually, the reason I said that, I was just talking to my parents right before going on here. My dad does got something going on with some skin cancer thing, and it's not, I think it literally is a leaky, oozy thing. So it's like that kind of, I know, I'm sorry, too much. I don't know. My mother said it was something on his leg, something, and they're going tomorrow to take care of it. But I mean, it could be something like that. Usually my parents do not share with me what's going on with them, but.
Oh, did they have a leaky faucet, sink, something? Is there some water escaping?
I don't know. I didn't ask.
No.
It doesn't always 100%. It's not like every time. It's not like you're always there's always things going out. It's just when you do have a leak, there's something you really got it, then you have to go notice it.
Yeah.
Or not even that. It's like once you fix it, like I said, I've never tracked it. You're taking it a different direction, which I love, or just a different direction I hadn't thought about. That's the point of having 2 points of view or many points of view. I always, like I said, I just see it come in. You stop the leak and then money comes in. I've never gone to track the leak. So
well, like Christine, I'm quite on board with. Well, maybe I'll fix this drain issue I've been having for a year. Oh God, I hate that stuff.
You can do it as your own experiment. Do it and see what happens.
Okay, that sounds good. I'll do that. So here's something that I think is really interesting when it comes to energy in the home. So sometimes I prefer to keep doors open, and sometimes I prefer to have them shut. There are 3 doors, 4 doors in my bedroom. One is like a bifold closet. The other one is to the ensuite bathroom. One is the door out, and then the other one is to a walk-in closet. And so if one of those doors is open, I get anxious and like, so I have to make sure that all the doors are closed to the bedroom when I go to sleep. Can you speak to that in Feng Shui terms?
I do the same thing. I have to, it's very, well, a couple things, like it's what I talked about before, that yin yang balance. When things are open, that's yang. When things are closed, it's yin. You're keeping it in. So like I said, there's movement and containment. That's kind of, if we want to boil it down, where move and contain. When you close the doors, it's keeping it in. When you want to sleep, you want that womb-like energy. I do the same thing. I'm here by myself. I close my bedroom door. It's not like anybody's coming in. I close the door to my closet. I pull down the shades. And that's kind of like creating that little womb lake, because you're going to bed and you want that like yin environment for sleep.
So yin is, and Christine asked a question, and I'll just ask in a second. So yin is the feminine, and yin is all about creating, especially in the bedroom when you're going to sleep, creating a sanctuary, creating a cocoon so that you can go to sleep. And if there's a door open, that means energy is, this is me surmising, the energy is flowing out of the bedroom. It's a bit more, it's more active.
Flowing in, it could be flowing out. It's just there's movement. There's going to be movement.
Yeah.
Of energy. You want to and like I said, yin and yang, it's very complex. It's more than, you can say masculine, feminine, light, dark. There's so much heaven and earth. There's so much to it. Yeah. So it's just, like I said, it's movement and containment to kind of boil it down. So yeah, if you have a door open, then it's moving. And again, it depends where then we can get into where's that door leading to and all kinds of questions about that. But basically, like I said, I do the same thing. Yin, and you want, especially for sleeping, you want a yin environment. Now, if it's, your exercise room, you're exercising, you don't want a yin cocoon. You want more that yang, that 12 o'clock noon, very vibrant energy, to get, if you're exercising. So you would want bright and lots of light and windows open. You'd want that kind of energy.
More movement. Yes, more brightness. Okay, so very quickly, Heather says, she missed it. She's like, toilet lid up or down? What's the verdict?
The answer was, it doesn't matter. I've never seen it make a difference. Like an experience, everything I do is experiential. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't make a difference.
Okay. And then Christine says, is it a feng shui thing that says you should not have your bed facing the bedroom door, and why?
Oh, bedroom, facing the bedroom door?
Yeah, like your feet towards the bedroom door. Like they're going to carry you out boots first. Bedroom door.
That's a complicated question. When it comes to the bedroom, it's like that. I call it poker. Like what beats what. That it's like you have your pair of deuces, you have three of a kind, you have it's like what beats what, because everybody says there's all these rules. You shouldn't do this. You shouldn't do that. What you don't want in front of a door, ideally you would want to be facing, like when you look up, looking at the door. You'd want the head, you would be able to see the door ideally, but you don't want it blocking a door flow. You wouldn't want a bed crossing, like if the door was open, you don't want a bed crossing that pattern across it. You don't want to cut any flow patterns with the bed. Ideally, you want to be able to see it. You want to be ideally a command position, like where I'm sitting right now. I've got a wall behind me. I'm sitting up. If somebody comes in, I can see them. That's called a command position. So in a bedroom, you want to at least have the idea, like if someone's walking in, not that they are, but it's just like, it's
a command position
thing. You want to be able to see them. Now, there's a lot of times and a lot of reasons why that's not ideal. I've done that in my own bedroom for different reasons. But then to fix that, you could just put a mirror in a place where you can at least see somebody coming in. I've done that before too. So, I think it's hard to say that when you come to a bedroom without actually seeing it. There's a lot of exceptions to the rule. There's not so many rules. My biggest thing is, and sometimes there's bedrooms you can't have it any other way but one way. A bedroom would be small and it can only go in a certain spot. Mm-hmm. And you just start making, you make adjustments around it.
Yeah.
So ideally, yes, you want to be able to.
So what you're saying is that if there's no true, real rules, like hard and fast rules, it's all about what's working together, what might be working against each other, and how to make the best flow in the room. So there's no one hard and fast rule. It's about creating the best energy flow in the bedroom.
Yeah. I mean, ideally what you would want is if you have a bed facing the right way, looking, energy flows, any, distractions or any things that are blocking energies, they're blocking chi, let's say. You want your side tables. Again, we want a cocoon like in your bed. You want it in your bedroom because you want just, you want the experience of a bedroom really is only for two things: sleeping and having an intimacy. That's really it. So you, again, you want that cocoon, you know, that warm feeling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And, you know, romance, you can add fire. Those are the, I guess you have your candles, you have nice lighting. So, you know, to add fire, that would raise the energy a bit. It wouldn't be so cocoon-like. So that's why you'd create moods.
Yeah.
So ideally, a bed would be, an ideal would have your bed, a headboard, you have your side tables, have some lights. They should be the same, like same.
Yeah.
Like, they don't have to be exactly matchy, but similar sizes. And that kind of, I like to have something at the end of the bed too, to kind of, whether a bench or something. I like to have something at the end of the bed.
Why is that?
It just anchors the energy in, so it kind of brings it all around.
I like that. Yeah, when I do interiors, I'm always putting something at the foot of the bed, whether it's a bench or a large trunk, you know, something that you can basically sit and put your shoes on. But I always felt like you're right, like it anchors the space. Like the bed is big enough, you feel like it should anchor the space. But having the something at the end of the bed, it makes it more commanding, more presence, really.
Yeah, or if you have a footboard. If you have a footboard and that's hefty enough and that
Okay.
anchors in your energy, then that's fine. I think sometimes you have a footboard plus a bench, it's a little much. It depends. Like a sleigh bed, that would like be itself, you know.
Yeah. Okay. So, in general, what would you say? How does feng shui help us to feel better in our homes?
Well, it's that's a very good question, and the reason why is just basically everything moves, and if you have everything's in balance, you just naturally feel good. I mean, on a clear, it's like anything when there's dirt, anything, one knows it, you feel it. So feng shui is kind of like sweeping out or cleaning out the energy. It brings in optimal, it's ideal, you feel good in an energy that there's no negativity. I mean, feng shui, with the feng shui consultation, or what you'll do if it's caught, it'll grab all those blocks or obstacles or, you know, anything that's kind of negative. And, you know, and negative doesn't mean bad, just like blocking you know, slowing your energy down or blocking it throughout the space, and then flip it out. And then when it's flowing, first of all, you're clearing things that are, so it's new stuff can come in, it's open, so it's fresh. It's kind of like having a fresh energy. It's like a big spring cleaning. Or, you know, it's cleaning anytime anybody why do we clean our house? Why do we do any, you know, it's like, it feels good. You even have to have your, if you've just cleaned something, cleaned out your refrigerator. I like even getting my teeth cleaned. That's weird, I know, but people like, I love it when I have clean teeth. It just feels good in my mouth.
Yeah.
Same, and you know, it raises the vibration. Like everything, like you said when we started, everything's energy. Whether you believe it or not, it is. Everything's energy. So once you raise the vibration for energy, you feel better, and it's more opportunities come to you, and all that.
That's a beautiful reason to that how feng shui makes us feel better in our homes, because it will improve the flow of energy. It'll get rid of, just the nature of feng shui is designed to remove the blockages to the flow of the energy within the home. So once those blockages are removed, you're brought to a position of stasis, right? Or homeostasis. So it's like, or neutrality, and then you can bring the good energy into the home through the bagua and certain placements of things or whatever.
Well, that's a very good point, Bridget. Like, first of all, like feng shui is a mirror. Like I was talking about, all these, you know, objects or are like little signposts, like, oh, here. It also it's a reflection of you, how people design their house or put their things or throw their, you know, whatever they're doing with their objects in the home is a reflection of your inner world. Your inner world is reflected by the outer world. So you clean up, I mean, that's why even decluttering is help. Once you clean up that stuff, you feel better because it's a reflection of your own, it goes back to your own self. So, and the way I practice is I go find the negatives first, like whatever the obstacles are, what's not working. So it's kind of like you're starting, you get to neutral, and then you get to bring in the positive. So then we start, and that's the fun. You have the creative solutions and the fun comes in. But first you got to get to neutral. Exactly. Kind of just neutralize the space first.
Yeah. I operate in the same way with my decluttering and then into the organizing. It's the decluttering. I do it with the intention of heavy clearing and helping the clients to clear things out as well within themselves. And it's like, just declutter, get rid of all the things that you're really wanting to hold on to, but need to let go of, those things that are blocking you from being present in your life, things that are holding you back, the reminders of your past, like these little things. And then it's like, once those are all cleared out, then we've got like this neutral space. And it's like, I feel like, when it comes to the organizing, I feel like people need a little bit to see, they need to see the neutral space so they can know what it feels like to not be so weighed down by the past. And then once they've experienced that neutrality, then I bring in the organizing and the styling and making the space organized, functional, and beautiful. So I love that our work just kind of, they kiss in that way, you know, it's really nice. Christine has a question. She says, do you think that someone can practice feng shui intuitively without knowing it or having any training?
I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's complicated. Like I said, it took me 8 years I think you can do stuff at a certain level. Like you can read the books and things happen, but if you really want to and that's what I was going to address, what feng shui is versus Marie Kondo or organizing. So that's a level. I mean, for years I do organizing because it's a big bang for your buck. It's quick energy, it gets it moving. But if you got bigger things, like really getting into your life, I do a Chinese astrology reading as part of what I do for a feng shui consultation. I mean, I get it, you know, once you get to a clean space where you're organized and there's no clutter, because if I was doing a feng shui consultation, that's how I started to get into organizing to begin with. If I was doing a consultation, I went to somebody's home and it was cluttered and disorganized, I would have just come in and I'm accelerating the energy. I would have come in and accelerated chaos and clutter in their lives. And usually in clients that I work with, the organization does signify something. That's what I love doing it. When I'm doing the clutter clearing with them and putting things back in order, the patterns of what the clutter is and how brings up the underlying emotions or issues that reflects in the clutter, like what it is. So I had to start there because otherwise, like I said, I would have just accelerated that. Now that, you know, everybody's Marie Kondoed and everyone's doing organized, I'm so excited. I'm going back to get to do what I want to do again is feng shui, because now we get into the bigger life things. We get into the bigger, you know, what's your life path? Where are you? What are you up to? Where are you stagnating in your career or whatever, your lives? Let's get you moving. What are your dreams? I mean, that's really where the chi really wants to go. I ask 3 questions and I work with people. Where are you now? Because you have to know where you're starting from. You have to really be clear about where you're starting from to know where you want to go. So everybody wants more money, more, you know, whatever, but you still have to know where you're starting from. Then the 3rd question is, what are your dreams? Because seriously, that's where the energy really wants to move to. So I like to get dreams fulfilled. And that happens all the time. People's dreams get fulfilled.
Yeah, I love that. I love how you put that, Tracy. The energy always wants to go to that place that energy to make the dreams come true. You know, when I organize for the same purpose, to transform their lives and to help. The end of the day, like what I want is for people to make their dreams come true, to live their life's purpose, their soul calling. It's like that. Those bigger reasons why we came here, using our expertise and our gifts, like. if you know we're being held back inside, our home is reflecting it. Like we have got to, the outer transformation needs to reflect an inner transformation as well, or else that clutter is going to come back, that disorganization, that the organization will not be maintained, and you'll just spend thousands of dollars for nothing, to spend it all over again. Not for nothing, but like you'll have to spend it all over again and have me or Tracy back.
The energy doesn't lie. I mean, it's like, you know, people, I was an accountant. I started off, went to school for accounting. You know, people like, how did you get from accounting to feng shui? It's like, it's all about balance, balancing debits and credits, balancing yin and yang. Like people say numbers don't lie, and they don't. Numbers don't lie. And energy doesn't lie. Like for instance, did a client once, and the big mess, everything was really, really nice and organized, except for the laundry room was a mess. And the laundry room represented the family area, the, you know, family area of their house, and knows family, elders. It was East elders family. And as the husband, the guy, was in a family business. It was a family owned business, and there were troubles going on. So, I mean, when I asked questions, what's going on? That came up. So it's always, it never lies. There's always that, you know, the clutter, something over there. It could be like an unstable, like literal, feng shui is very literal. People's walkways going to the house is really important. If it's like unstable, like, you know, it's cracked, it's like, okay, what's going on here? It's kind of all of it.
So I think that might be a bit of what Christine meant about practicing feng shui intuitively, because we know that it is an art and it is a science, but there are elements that people who are sensitive to energy can understand. And like, for example, if I was doing a remodel and the sidewalk to the house was cracked and nasty, I was like, this needs to be leveled. They're like, we didn't plan on doing anything for the landscaping. Like, you need this needs to be leveled out so that the welcome to your home is bright and beautiful and warm. Like, level it out, and then the energy gets smoothed out. The welcome is the path into the home is much cleaner.
Exactly. So yeah, exactly. But then it also means stability. You know, there is a stability factor. I agree. It's, I said, it's certain levels. Yes, I think that there's, but if you really want to deliberately, you're having issues that you just can't get a hold of, that same things come up over and over again, then it would take somebody, you would not be able to do that yourself. You could not read a feng shui book and fix it yourself. You know what I mean?
I've got 4, I know. Where is that boyfriend?
Right. And sometimes, like a lot of times, it's not, it's like, they call it like pickup stick, not pickup sticks. Yeah, that game. A lot of times people like, it's the relationship. I want a relationship, and you go to the relationship, and the books always say, put 2 of everything. You know, if you want to be in a relationship, put pairs of things, especially in your relationship corner.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's something else. It's something else, not just the relationship. There's something else in the way first. You know what I mean? It could be something from the past. It could be something in your family. It could be some other issue that needs to be cleaned up first before you can get to that. It's like something else is in the way. So so it's not necessarily a direct go-to. Like everyone, you can't just doesn't always work just to put a jade or a money tree in your money section. Sometimes it does, sometimes it really does. Sometimes you need to do it. Like I said, intention's very powerful. And if it can work, that's fine. But if there's something else there, it's not gonna work.
Yeah, I think, you know, people are, most of us are looking for a quick fix. You know, it's like, oh, if I can just put a jade in my money corner, you know, I'll get $1 million or something like that. And there's what feng shui invites us to do. But we also know that there is no such thing as a quick fix, even though sometimes it is just that one little turn that you're talking about. But most often I feel like 90% of the time we have to go and, like, we're being invited to look at things in a more holistic and deeper way, to see where the clogs and the breaks and the fractures are in our relationships, in our finances, in our career, what's holding our hearts back. And so when we, you know, feng shui can create, it'll flow the energy of the home. It will unblock so many things.
But it's not just the home, it's the person too. I mean,
Yeah.
I've run a consultation where literally all I did was cut off some dead stuff off a plant. And where that plant was and what it represented, the dead stuff, opened up, but it was part of the conversation because it did start, like you said, it brought up some deeper things. So it's, some deeper resentments that were being held in, and things that the couple was a couple, and stuff that they had never even talked about. But I come in, I asked the right questions, and things that are like everything else. In order to be light has to be shed on something for it to change. In order even to have any transformation, it has to at least be seen.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, Christine has a question.
Okay.
Pretty interesting. What does it say about a person when their home and personal space is very organized and everything is in its place? So basically, what does an organized space say to you?
If it's too organized, I've gone in where it looks, I'm sure you're not talking about this, Christine, but I'm just going to say this one anyway. There's many times where I've walked into people's house, or I've had consultations where it looks too good. On the outside, it looks perfect. And then I start opening up closets and it's all jammed in there. So there's always, and I say you can run, but you can't hide. There's always something. I guess if everything's organized, everything's going well in everybody's life. I don't know anybody that's got like an absolutely perfect life. I'm always about growing and developing. So I would never, there is never any, I don't believe there's status quo. You're either expanding or contracting. There's not any just like I'm hanging out here and everything's great. That's just, it's also the law of feng shui. There's always change. Yang changes into yang, and yang, it's always constant in life is there's always change. So if everything looks organized, it's like, awesome, that's great. I guess at that moment in your time, everything's going well. If they're hiding something though, if you're talking about everything, if it's too much though, like everything's labeled, then it's probably a little overkill. I find workability is, as long as everything's functioning and working, it's great. If it's a true organized person, then more power to them, and everything's going well, like, yay.
Yeah.
That's great.
When I go into a home, and like, or somebody's like, I'm super organized, and or I go into a home and everything is very, everything is in its place and everything. Yes, Christine, change is inevitable. I get suspicious. This is my professional nose going up. When people are really when they're very, very organized to the point where they are afraid of having a mess, and everything must go back into its place at one time. Humans were naturally creative. We're always creating, and we're always I think moving forward. And so that's going to create mess. That means a fork is going to get left on the counter. It means that shoes are going to be kicked off right when you walk in the door because your mind is already on something else. But when you become afraid of that mess, of having a mess anywhere in your house, then to me that says that there is a fear of lack of control, or a fear of surrender. Mm-hmm. And when I think about that, Jess says it's about control. When I see that, I'm like, okay, I need to feel into you and figure out where the fear of a lack of control is. Like, what's going to happen if you lose control? Because it's creating a restrictive environment, restrictive energy in the house, because you're walking around putting all that need for control, that fear and that restriction into your sofa, into your curtains, into your walls. Like it's your clothes, it's everywhere. And my goal, like yours, is to always bring people to their dreams. So it's like, if you're restricted in that way, you're also restricting your dreams. You're restricting who you really are. There's a lot of oppression going on, and oppression and suppression. And so my strong desire when I go into a place like that is like, here's a glass of wine. Let's sit and talk. Let's get to the truth. I bring a strong clearing energy to all of my work. And Tracy, what would you say that you bring to your work? Like if you brought a certain energy to it, what is that energy?
Well, that's interesting. See, when I'm doing a feng shui consultation, nothing. I'm neutral. I'm a
Not a
clean slate.
consultation, but like the actual when you get hired for a project.
Oh, clarity, direction. That's clarity, direction, and simple solutions. Like things that are really, they're so simple, so easy to execute that really is going to make a huge difference. But it's almost like, really? Why didn't I think of that? Right? Exactly. But you couldn't. But it's like, so it's direction, clarity. That's usually the really great solutions that are so simple, you don't even think about it. Like I'm really good at coming up with really good solutions. I take a lot of information, synthesize it, and spit out a real simple solution.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's perfect. What is your favorite client story, Tracy?
My favorite client story? It's the one I kind of just started saying. My favorite client is the one with the tree, the family, the one with the where I cut the dead branches. They were fighting for a year. They wanted me to come in. They kept canceling. So it was actually my very, very first consultation. She's like, oh, we're going to get divorced. I don't even want to, don't come now. And I'm like, nope, I'm coming. You need me now. And they would fight and argue. And she was Hungarian. He was Italian. When I was asking questions, the husband, to the wife, the husband's very respectful, listened, to whatever she had to say. When we switched it and I was talking to the husband, asking him questions, the wife kept deflecting. She was like, no, that's not right, and whatever. So I came up with this policy. Okay, everybody has to take 10 minutes. Nobody can say anything if they're saying a truth from themselves. They just have to stop and talk. So what it basically came down, like his dreams, they both were in the banking industry. He was a branch manager and she was in IT for one of the banks. And his dream is always he had wanted to, that was just it. They weren't listening to each other. So, and they had a small child and she was very controlling about how much time he could spend with her and the baby and all that. So anyway, get to the family room. Like I said, this dead plant, there was a dead plant in the corner and 2 philodendrons with these weird growth patterns, a lot of leaves and then nothing, then a lot. So I said, I'm like, what is this reminding you of? A lot of something, then nothing. And she starts cracking up and laughs. She goes, that's how he makes money. A lot of something, nothing, a lot of something. So then they start, all of a sudden he's like, but I don't even like what I'm doing. I wish I could, I always wanted to be in the restaurant business. I want a restaurant, but she won't support me. And I'm like, are you kidding? She's working 2 jobs. Of course she'll support you. So they started talking about it. They started talking about how they really enjoy cooking together. And all of a sudden, everything shifted on that, like everything turned on a dime. From, like I said, I walked into where they were getting divorced. They didn't want to talk to each other. The body language is like this, to them laughing and coming up with solutions, like how they could, have this restaurant business or whatever. So that was so I snipped the dead part. So it was just the green. And then 2 weeks later, I called to follow up. It turns out she was pregnant. So it wasn't like she had been pregnant even at the consultation.
Yeah.
I know 100% if I had not come, and they were excited and ecstatic about that new baby. If I hadn't come and transformed and interrupted those patterns, it would have not been the same story. They would have been upset. A year later, he had a Quizmo franchise. Oh. So it all did, I kept in touch and it all really started, they were happy, they were entertaining. And I know I made a difference there. I know 100% that for me, interrupting those patterns or interrupting that energy chi flow of what was happening and the negative, eliminating the negatives, bringing it to the positive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Miraculous. And it that's really what touches me. That's why I do what I do. The day that I'm not ecstatic and surprised, like, oh my God, this stuff really works. The day that I'm not tickled pink, that would have the results is the day I'll stop doing what I do.
Oh, that's a great story, Tracy. That's a really great story.
Thank you.
Yeah. Do you want to see, I just thought of this. Do you want to see if there's anybody who's like watching it on your page, if they're having any questions?
On my page,
Yeah.
let's see. Yeah. Oh, that was Sarah said, hi, fresh, just a lot of, I need that. That's great. Good ideas. Dumpsters full. That's about it. I've got a lot of good, lot of
I
confirmation.
love.
Thanks, Sarah and Mary
Yeah.
and everybody. Yay. Yeah.
Yay. And then I think the last thing, Tracy, I'd love to know is, why do you think that we need feng shui?
Need. That's an interesting word. Does anybody need? I think it's a super good idea, and I'll say this why. I think in this time of coronavirus, I think there's a whole shift in the energy of the world. I just really feel it. I think there's a whole shifting. I think feng shui brings to light a lot of things, like, you know, it's like, I think up until now, especially Americans, were show me. I was a show me person. I need to see it, you know, tangibles. What is energy? What's this chi stuff? What is that? Does it, you know, it's all been basically pretty materialistic. Well, there's a lot of things that we believe in that are not necessarily like air, like you can't see it. We've studied it, there's molecules, but really, did somebody make that up? I don't know, but it's air, you know, there's sun. Why do we feel better when the sun's out? Why do we, you know, there's a wind. We see the effects of wind. There, you know, leaves rustle in the trees. Can you grab wind? You know, can you actually, you know, so feng shui's, if you want to feel good, and especially now where more of these intangibles are really super important and so easy to do. They're just little, you know, it's really small things that make such a, we want to feel good. You know, why not be, when you feel good, you're kinder to yourself, you're kinder to your family, your neighbors, your community. It spreads out to, they're like ripple effects. You know, when you throw the pebble into water, it literally, energy does move out, it's wavelengths. So
Yeah.
when you raise your own energy in your own house and you raise the energy there and your vibration is raised, like I said, opportunities come, things happen, you feel better, relationships get better, and you're giving to the world, then your neighborhood starts, you know, it really does shift like that. So if more and more people were on, you know, just looked at what's going on with themselves, their lives, their homes, improved some things, there's a whole different energy in the world, which is happening anyway. Might as well come along with it.
Yeah, I am right with you there. There is a big energy change coming. And actually the change is already here. It's about whether or not you're ready to step into it. I'm having this feeling that there is like a new home, capital N, capital H, a new kind of home, a new home for people who are stepping into the higher vibrations, who are not being tied down by the past anymore. And they're stepping, there's like, it's like a new world sort of. And when we're stepping into the new world, we're stepping into the higher consciousness. And there's a lot more going on than what meets the eye. And those who embrace it they're beginning to feel it in themselves, and they need it to be, our home is an anchor for us, you know, and our home is also a reflection of who we are. If we can get the energy cleaned out, cleared up, and flowing correctly in the home, it will help that energy to flow cleanly and correctly in our lives. And I'm really excited to create the new home after the coronavirus. I'm going to be doing like Corona cleaning. I'm going to just clean the energy in people's homes. It's like this massive, I just want to like take my spiritual or my energetic like power washer and just go all the crap that you've been going through. Because people are like knocking around their homes. They're facing themselves. You know, some people are doing a really good job at facing themselves. Other people are still hiding, you know? And it's like, you really don't hide, because hiding is boring, and hiding keeps you in place. And the longer you hide, the longer you are suffering. And what is suffering but it's the soul's inability to express itself? The soul is in pain. you know? So I don't want that for anybody. I want lightness, happiness, joy as much as we can, bring it to people. So yeah, Tracy, we feel it. There's a new home coming.
Well, interesting, because I've, that I've been on an exploration of what is home mean. I've been tootling around with this concept for a couple years. Like, it was in my head, and in November I launched myself out into the world to explore what is home. Like, we asked, what is feng shui? What is home? What does home mean? Is it a house? Is it a, so I'm on that exploration. I kind of, I was, I think for me, I feel I could make a home wherever I go. So it's not necessarily a physical place for me. And yes, there's a physical structure to it, like a house, which you make a home. But I definitely agree. I think I didn't even think of that's a great idea, the coronavirus.
Corona clean out.
Power washer. That's great.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a thing. But anyway, Tracy, is there anything else that you want to say?
Yes. First, I want to say, if anybody wants to engage with me, I have a newsletter that actually did start with the corona. Like, I've been on point with the energy. I've been about a week ahead of how this whole thing's been moving. So I started doing a newsletter that's been very uplifting, energy boosting. So if anybody's interested in staying on that, getting on that newsletter, which after this is over, which I think I think May 20th, at least in Connecticut, I think I feel pretty confident that that will start opening up things, that I think restaurants will start opening. I think we are gonna start getting back to some sort of being out in the world. I'm not saying we're going back to normal. We're in a new normal. I mean, there's a new normal going on, which I think is going to be which is positive. But anyway, so if you want to engage with me in my newsletter, either put in the comments on Bridget's page or my page, your email address, and it comes out on Tuesdays. It's super fun. I have some fun videos. And even after the coronavirus, it'll be feng shui tips and fun things with fun videos and all energy boosters. It's a lot of fun, and it's kind of on point. Like I said, I was saying on Tuesday, I said the name of this one was gratitude, look for the silver linings, because there are the silver linings in all this. And I'll share with you this week's assignment was take a piece of paper, number it 1 through 7 for each day. And every day, write down your silver lining. On Wednesday, I got free coffee at Dunkin' Donuts at the end of the day. I stopped to get a latte, and I ended up, they were closing early, and they're like, well, we're not gonna make it, but I'll give you coffee for free. I'm like, yay. I mean, they can be little teeny things. You look for just the small wins. So stuff like that. So and you can go to my website, which is in progress, but there's a capture box for emails, which is Tracy All Things Home, capital T RACY, allthingshome.com. And this astrology reading, which gives you interest, it's called a 4-pillar Chinese astrology chart, which gives you a lot of information about your elements and your personal feng shui, like what works for you, some colors, shapes. We didn't get into that, but if anybody's interested, contact me about that. And I have a 3-hour energy cheap balance, 3-hour energy cheap balance special going on right now. So that's normally $290, so it'll be $240. And you can contact me about that or anything else. Just contact me and talk to me.
Love it. That's great, Tracy. I think it would be best if people just messaged you their email addresses just to protect their privacy.
Yeah.
I mean, my personal Facebook page is public, I think, so I would rather people not put their email addresses on, just so that, just for safety, privacy, safety, yada, yada. So just go ahead and message Tracy your email address if you would like for her to, if you'd like to be on her newsletter and get all those excellent tips on Corona, thriving in Corona, and also the just beautiful feng shui in the home and in the self. And your website is, what is it again?
TracyAllThingsHome.com, but it's under construction. So it's really
You can
progress.
drop
But
it in the comments.
capture. Yeah, but definitely you can put it in the, and thank you. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you so much for everybody who is watching now or will be watching the replay. If you're watching the replay, then go ahead and just put replay in if you stay all the way till the end, because we had a long talk here. But yeah, so thank you so much, everybody, for watching and for being with us. Really appreciate it. And that is everything. Thank you.
Thank you, Bridget. This was so fun. And you are just a delight. You are just charming, so talented.
Thank you, Tracy. I am so
Honored.
I'm so looking forward to our Elm City Wellness Project and for other collaborations down the road. Yeah. All right. Take care, everybody. Bye.
Bye.